one of the most sort of mask-off moments, literally and metaphorically, through the pandemic about the American right wing has been the viciousness with which the right has attacked medical professionals in general around the pandemic, but in particular, the way Dr. Anthony Fauci has been attacked, not only in terms of physical threat to the point where he needs full-time security, but attacked in terms of his motives, attacked through conspiracies, and on and on and on. And one of the main elected officials who has been attacking Dr. Fauci is Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky, who many of you will say, that's Dr. Rand Paul, sir. Don't forget that.
Sir.
Yeah. But he is an ophthalmologist and not an infectious disease specialist. And he is again tangling up with Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci seems to have just had enough. At one point, telling Rand Paul that if anybody's lying, it's him, which we will get to. But first saying that Rand Paul has no idea what he's talking about. Let's really look at this first exchange here from yesterday's hearing. And by the way, Rand Paul seems just obsessed with Fauci. It's like Groundhog Day, every single one of these hearings with these two.
New potential pandemic pathogens that exist only in the lab, not in nature. This research matches, these are Dr. Ebright's words, this research matches, indeed epitomizes, the definition of gain-of-function research done entirely in Wuhan, for which there was supposed to be a federal pause. Dr. Fauci, knowing that it is a crime to lie to Congress, do you wish to retract your statement of May 11th?
So already, I mean, implying that Fauci has perjured himself by lying.
You claimed that the NIH never funded gain-of-function research in Wuhan.
Senator Paul, I have never lied before the Congress.
Microphone down.
Your microphone.
Senator Paul, I have never lied before the Congress, and I do not retract that statement. This paper that you are referring to was judged by qualified staff up and down the chain as not being gain of function.
So
let me finish.
You take an animal virus and you increase its transmissibility to humans.
Right.
You're saying that's not gain of function?
Yeah, that is correct. And Senator Paul, you do not know what you are talking about, quite frankly. And I want to say that officially. You do not know what you are talking about. Okay, you get one person.
Let's read from the NIH.
Can I answer?
And it's like he's not even allowed to fully answer the question. It's this Rand Paul is just some of the worst of the American political establishment.
Function. This is your definition that you guys wrote. It says that scientific research that increases the transmissibility among mammals is gain of function. They took animal viruses that only occur in animals and they increased their transmissibility to humans. How you can say that is not gain of function?
It is not.
It's a dance, and you're dancing around this because you're trying to obscure responsibility for 4 million people dying around the world from a pandemic.
And let's let Dr.
It's
Fauci.
funny because in other contexts, the pandemic isn't serious. So when it's convenient for Rand Paul to say masks, closures, guidelines, restrictions, this isn't nearly serious enough. And now he's saying, this is so serious, Dr. Fauci, that you're lying to us.
Well, now you're getting into something. If the point that you are making is that the grant that was funded as a sub-award from EcoHealth to Wuhan created SARS-CoV-2, that's where you are getting.
Okay. So again, it's just endless with Rand Paul. We've talked about the gain of function stuff a number of times already. At the end of the day, you could say this could just come down to a sort of semantic disagreement between entities in terms of definitions of gain of function. But the obsession of Rand Paul is what just cannot be understood here. Let's look at a little more. And here's where Fauci says, if anybody here is lying, it's you, Rand Paul.
For 4 million people dying around the world from a pandemic.
And let's let Dr. Fauci.
I have to. Well, now you're getting into something. If the point that you are making is that the grant.
And there's a little bit of overlap here, for which I apologize.
Funded as a sub-award from EcoHealth to Wuhan created SARS-CoV-2. That's where you are getting. Let me finish.
We don't know.
Well,
we don't
wait
know
a
if
minute.
it did
I
come
can-
from the lab, but all
You-
the evidence is pointing that it came from the lab, and there will be responsibility for those who funded the lab, including yourself.
I totally,
Rand Paul is blaming Dr. Fauci for the pandemic.
This committee
resent-
will allow the witness to
I
respond.
totally resent the lie that you are now propagating, Senator, because if you look at the viruses that were used in the experiments, that were given in the annual reports, that were published in the literature, it is molecularly impossible.
No one's saying those viruses caused it.
It
No
is
one is alleging that
molecularly.
those viruses caused the pandemic. What we're alleging is that gain-of-function research was going on in that lab, and NIH funded it.
That
You
is
can't
not-
get away from it. It meets your definition, and you are obfuscating the truth.
I'm not
Paul,
obfuscating the truth.
Senator
You're the
Paul's
one.
time is expired, but I will allow the witness to.
Let me just finish.
Dear
I
God.
want everyone to understand that if you look at those viruses, and that's judged by qualified virologists and evolutionary biologists, those viruses are molecularly impossible
No one's
to
saying
result
they are. No
in
one's saying those viruses
SARS-CoV-2.
caused the pandemic.
Senator Paul,
We're saying they are gain-of-function viruses because they were
They're not.
animal viruses that became more transmissible in human, and you funded it.
And
Don't
you
admit the truth.
and you
Senator
implying
Paul, your time has expired, and I will allow witnesses who come before this committee to respond.
and you are implying that what we did was responsible for the deaths of individual. I totally resent
could
that.
have
And
been.
if anybody
could
is
have been.
lying here, Senator, it is you.
So this is just never ending, never ending. And the world is looking at how a doctor who has devoted his life to trying to prevent pandemics and communicable disease, infectious disease, has become, if not enemy number one, sort of co-enemy number one to a particular political contingent in the United States. It's humiliating and it's embarrassing, and do not expect this to stop anytime soon. If you want to see more about the gain of function distinctions, check out our previous clip about this. Just go to our YouTube channel, search for Anthony Fauci, Rand Paul, and you will find at least one, maybe even a couple of clips about it. One of our sponsors today is Sheath Underwear. It's the middle of summer. That can mean a lot of sweating, sticking, chafing with traditional underwear, but not with Sheath Underwear, which has created unique boxer brief designs with multiple ergonomic compartments in the front. Keeps everything separate, cool, dry, and comfortable, even in the hottest time of year, especially when you need it. Sheath Underwear was invented by an Iraq War veteran who was looking for a solution to the problems he was having with traditional underwear in the desert heat. And he realized that what he came up with is perfect for everyday use. And that's where Sheath Underwear came from. It keeps you dry and comfortable like no other underwear can. Give Sheath Underwear a try. I've had a great experience with it. I know you will too. You can find the link right underneath this video. And don't forget to use the promo code PACMAN for 20% off.